Hello, welcome to the very first piano lesson with Richard. This is going to be on Final Fantasy Liberi Fatali, and I'm doing this for Johnny, who requested this on Reddit, and I'm hoping that I can help you out by showing you how to play this stuff. Now, I've seen a lot of those synthesized MIDI YouTube thing. I don't know how people can actually learn to play with those MIDI bars. So I'm gonna do it here, and I'm gonna play very, very slowly. And okay, when I play it slowly, it might sound like crap, but you can go to my, in the description below, I've got the link to the original video. That should be better. So I will be doing section by section. And if you want to learn this, I assume that you have the score for this. If not, Google is your friend. Find the score. I'll be talking about sections A, section A, B, C, D, and on. And of course, I'll be playing here. You can see the fingering, and I'll do a section at a time, and I will explain the key points. Okay. So in the beginning, we have this. So as you can see, the most important part is where the rests are. You want to make sure that you do some half pedaling to let go of the sound, but not completely. So the way I do it is I move the pedal to the middle and quickly back. And so you still have some sound there, but it doesn't disappear all completely. All right? So now to section A is very simple. So at the beginning, just make sure that you are very even. When I first started learning this, when I recorded this the first time, it sounded really uneven. So make sure your left and right hand can coordinate. Now remember the last note here. Make it more like a staccato because you want to make your emphasis on the next chord. Now the next one, the glissando, is giving some people some issues. So the way I do it is that I aim to about maybe D or so. You want your goal is in E. So if you can aim to go up until a D or so, that should be close enough. So you want to get to the D right after this, very, very soon after the second A. Okay, so that's it. And now I use my thumb and I aim for the E down to A. Okay. Now this trill can be very, very tricky. So take a look at the fingering. So I've got my thumb, second finger on the first two notes. Right. So I use 3 and 5 for the trill over here because understandably 4 and 5 they don't always work well. But 3 and 5 should be okay. Right. 4 and 5 is very, very slow. My 4 and 5 really sucks. So 3 and 4 is much better. And now the second one, I do 3 and 4 because 3, 4 shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's do this. And now, section C. I'm gonna play a lot slower actually. Actually, I covered section C and D, the whole page. So that's how to play that slowly. Now, the real issue with section C is pedaling. When I first started this piece, I had no idea how to pedal this stuff, and it's not marked on the music, and from the OST is a little difficult to figure out. So the way I think the way I pedal is pedal down, no pedal, no pedal, pedal, no pedal, pedal, no pedal, pedal again. You get an idea of where to pedal, where not to pedal. And of course, when I say pedal, you still need to change your pedal every quarter note to make things clean. All right, you never leave your pedal down more than a quarter note at a time. All right, now on the last line on this page, that triplet with a straight time combo on the third beat, it's very, very confusing. Don't worry about it, because even the OST doesn't play that way. OST really spreads out the notes. So instead of playing this, the way it's written is very confusing. Don't worry about it. Do this. Oh, sorry. Right? You see what happened, right? You just play the left hand straight time. It's less confusing. That's the way OST plays it. And if anything, if you play it the way it's written, first of all, it's really difficult, and second, it might not come out right. So now this trill, make it very short, because when you play this at full speed, the trill is gonna end a lot sooner than you think. So maybe like 3 rounds should be good enough. So this covers this page. Now the next page, I'll play it first. Pay special attention to the fingering. Normally, usually the lowest note, I would use my second finger to cross over my thumb, right? Right? So one more time. Normally, you just do this. Use your second finger to cross over. Now the next one, whenever you can, in order to keep the hand position the way that's convenient, I do the D and E on my thumb. Right? You don't, obviously, if you do this one per finger, then it's kind of difficult to reach that. So as a side note, even if you have small hands, you can play this, okay? My hands are extremely small. Right? If you look at this, that's how I play an octave on the keys, right? I cannot reach ninth on the keys. I have to go off the keys, right? So my hands are actually very, 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 very small. I really wish that I can reach 10th, which I kind of can, but that's not practical at all. I have to pre-press the keys. Anyway, that's a side note. Now the section starting on the second line, middle measure. Starting here, right? If you want to play this, it's okay. The next chord is like a D minor chord on A. So what you want to focus is transitioning from this to this. Just like the next chord is this. That's how you play. That's how you practice. Right after you play this, because if you practice on transitioning to this position, it should be after some practice, it should be much easier. Sorry, playing at this speed is very unnatural. I've never played it this slow, even when I practice. Actually, but you should. Anyway, like for me, my advice to anybody learning anything difficult is to play it slow. Try not to mess up the notes, because if you keep playing the wrong notes, it will slowly it will be built into your finger, and it's really hard to forget. So the next one, you have the this one, you have the trill on the left hand. If you're not very familiar with, I use 1 and 3. That's the fastest, I think, for me. Right? And if you find it very difficult on this, yes, it is. You kind of have to top it out on this one. So I'll play slowly. Right? So. Last one, I use this finger, so look at it carefully. Okay, this takes you to section F. Okay, so this is fairly straightforward. Right, 5, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. Except for the very last one, where I want to use a transition to a 4. That's how do you get to that, right? So once you're here, section G. Remember, whenever you can let the pedal go, you do, because your right hand is mostly staccato. You press the pedal down only when you need to change the note on your left hand, right? So pedal down, up, down. Well, actually, you don't need pedal here. Now, before you, I'm on the next page now. Before you hit the A, on the last note on the right hand, you press the little pedal down until you get the B, and you let go again. So as you can see, very little pedal. And here you almost the next one, you change the pedal on every beat, every quarter note. Right, so if I do it a little faster, you can see what's going on. Section, for me, it is very natural, very simple, but a lot of people, they cannot jump that far apart. So my advice is just to get familiarized with where the C sharp, F sharp is. You can that, it looks very simple, right? So if you can do faster, that'd be great. Take some practice. This is the kind of stuff, like for me, it just happens naturally. Like for you, you might need to work on it. Right. Now the next section, this I find out, when you practice this, it should be very simple, but when you play at full speed, it is not. So this is the next section. This is something that you really need to just spend some time, work on it, build up your speed, and very important, make the notes clear, obviously. Oops, sorry. One more time. again. Simple enough. Now the next section, there shouldn't be any issue. The only thing really doing the practice is to remember where you need to jump to. For example, G flat. And you want to jump to here, back, up, jump. Right, so as long as you know where your notes are, right? So you know where to jump to, then that's it. Simple. Next one, next page, shouldn't be any issue. Oh yeah, so here you can see that I use my thumb to hit the D flat, E flat, because like this is a very, very awkward position for me because my fingers are, again, very, very short. So whenever I can, I share fingers. Section J, when I first looked at this piece, I didn't think it's possible to play this, but it's actually very, very simple. So it's all the way you think. Okay, so if you look at the left hand, right, you want to play this fast. You want to treat each quarter note, sorry, not a quarter note, but each quarter as a separate thing. Let me show you what I mean. That's one thing. So after you do one thing, you do it again. Okay, finger up, down again. Right? So if you just keep doing that, then you can build up your speed. Now, do that in slow motion. So you can see my finger position. I almost lift my hand when I hit the A in preparation for the next move. So if I want to go faster, I just do. Well, it's practically faster than what it requires. So let's do that slowly first. So that's how we play it, and if you want to do a little faster, it sounds like this. Right, sorry, I recorded this a few months back, so anyway. Now the next section, okay. First of all, look at that grace note. You don't need to play this. Right? You can pretty much play it with the notes. And this is actually not just cheating, because this is how the OST plays it, and also on a lot of pieces, this is how they play. You don't necessarily play it as a grace note per se, like this. That's a little, yeah. So to play at this speed, you just do that. It will suffice. Right. So to play, so put it together. Right. So if you play it that way, it should be a lot simpler. Shouldn't have, there's nothing special about it. So I'm now in section L. Okay, now here The actual note is a C minor chord, but obviously you can see how that can create a problem for my hands, right? So that's why I'm pretty sure this is the only note that I omitted from my recording. So I just do this. To play the trill on top, as you can see, again, I'm using my thumb for C and D, and I use 3 and 4 on top, and do at least 2 cycles, or 3, right? So. Now here, I use, now section M, I start with my 4th finger. You just need to learn the notes. Right now, the last section here, section O, I found this to be fairly difficult in the beginning, but you just need to know some tricks. So I'm gonna play slowly first. I hope you got that. So the fingering wise, it shouldn't, the first 2 measures should be okay. Now on the timing, obviously you will need to work a lot on the 3 to 4 timing. On your 3 and 4 timing. So so you want to just squeeze 3 notes into the 4 notes together. This is something that it's really hard to teach over video. It's something that you work on by practicing. Right? There is no real good trick except that you start at the same time and you want to get 3 notes before you finish at 4 notes. That's the way to practice it, right? So finally, there. So that's this is, I don't even know how to say this name. Anyway, it's a liberi fatali. I think that's how you say it. But anyway, so this is my tutorial on this piece. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if if you make any progress. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Well, if you're not Johnny, if you're everybody else, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I should have more coming up. And I don't usually do these tutorial videos, so these are by request. So if there are certain pieces that from my library that you would like me to do one of these, let me know and I'll do one for you, okay? Thank you. Goodbye.